Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. In today's story, OP reaches out to Reddit because he's really at an impasse in his relationship. His wife's family is doing something that he's not really into for his birthday, and he finally decides to stand his ground. However, it doesn't necessarily go as planned. But do stay tuned for the update to find out what happens because it does end on a happy note. I also just want to add that I have a sort of mini announcement in the description of this video regarding how I edit the videos. So if you're just interested in some of the nitty-gritty, please go down to the description box to find out more details. Anyways, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, please leave a thumbs up. And before I move on to the story, I just wanted to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much, you guys are so wonderful. For those that are new, if you do like my content and you'd like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and onto the story. I told my wife I'm not going on family holiday with her family. I told my wife no, I'm not going on the family holiday with her family. I always prioritize my wife and her family. That's why I've even moved to her hometown. Our families are completely different. I'm an only child while she's the eldest of 3. My extended family is only 4 people, but hers is more than 30. My family is introverted and doesn't drink, while hers is extroverted and drinks whenever they can. My parents are disabled while hers are healthy. To be honest, my family can be considered boring, while hers is more fun. I've gotten used to it and it's horrible to admit, but I prefer hanging out with her family more than my own. I am a pushover and always do what my wife wants. As the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. Even if it's something I don't want to do, I still do it to make her happy. For example, I was terrified to have a first dance at our wedding, but she cried and I caved in. On Christmas, her family has a big party while mine is small and boring, so she doesn't want to be there. We live close to her family, and my family is now a 3 hours drive away, and I only see them on birthdays. This year, her grandma is turning 70, her mom is turning 50, and it's my 30th birthday. So her family has planned a huge family holiday with over 25 people to celebrate all of our birthdays. The catch is, it's not on anyone's birthday except mine, and we'll fly home the day after my birthday. My parents are upset because they want to see me on my 30th, and they feel like I'm always prioritizing her family over mine. This trip is further damaging our relationship. My parents are older and disabled, and my gran has early onset dementia, so I want to spend more time with them. We can't get a shorter holiday or go at another time because of work and school commitments. So I told her no. For the first time ever, I told her, no, I'm not going. You can go, but I'm staying here. I'm an adult and I want to spend my birthday with my family. She replied with, I am your family, and stormed off. She's not taking it well and is acting like a spoiled child. She's crying, screaming, and even called her mom to say that she can't go because I'm not going. Now her family thinks that I'm a jerk. She's packed a bag since I started writing this and is saying that she's going to stay at her mom's until I make up my mind about what's more important, my family or hers. I have no idea what to do. I just needed to vent. This was a comment by a Redditor. They say, you need to send a group email or text to all of her family. Say, I love my wife and her family, but I also love my own family. I made the decision to move to my wife's hometown, even though it meant being 3 hours away from my own family, because it was important to her. I also agreed to attend her family's Christmas celebration every year, even though it meant missing my own parents, who are always saddened by this. However, my parents, grandmother, and I have always had the tradition of spending my birthday with my parents. While this family vacation may seem like a nice idea, it would come at the cost of damaging my relationship with my parents, which I'm not willing to do. I love and respect my wife and her family, but I'm disappointed that they do not show the same care and respect for me and my relationship with my parents. My wife has left our marital home to stay with her parents, trying to force me to abandon my own. I find this selfish and I'm hurt that her family enables this behavior. My parents and grandmother are not in the best of health, and I want to make joyful memories with them while I still can. I have a right to care for and love my own family, and I'm hurt that her family refuses to acknowledge this. I will not be attending the family vacation, and anyone who tries to scold or berate me for this decision will be blocked. Wow, I only wanted a place to vent and didn't expect such a response. So just to clear a few things up, I love my wife and I'm not going to divorce her over this. She does so much for me and is normally a kind and loving person. We've been together for 6 years and have been married for 18 months. We do not have children yet, but we are trying. We live in the UK, and the reason that we can't go at any other time is because of UK's law on taking children out of school during the term time for holidays. It has been planned during the autumn break so the parents don't get fined. I woke up this morning to the following text from my wife's mother. Do you know how disappointed I am in you right now? It's not even that you're not coming away for my birthday. It's the fact that you're not supporting my daughter. You know how important family is to her. End of. You know how much she wants to come, and you telling her to go on her own is not being supportive. You've put a full stop to it all. I don't understand your issue. It's one thing and then another, and she can't do right for wrong in trying. It's supposed to be a lovely family holiday for my 50th, for God's sake. This text has made me even more determined to stand my ground. I think I'm going to take the advice of her editor and send my wife's mother my reasoning. They seem to forget that I have parents too. I just don't want to be hated. This holiday is 8 months away and I don't want 8 months of hate, especially when we live in such close proximity. Last night, my wife and I went out to dinner. I wanted to have a conversation with her in a public place where she was less likely to become emotional. I shared all of the advice that I had read and showed her the text from her mother. She listened attentively, and I could see her physically cringe as she read the text. She apologized for her behavior and acknowledged that she hadn't considered my perspective. I told her about a comment from her editor, sorry, I can't remember the name, who said, if we're doing this for 30, 50, 70, what will happen at 40, 60, 80, or 50, 70, 90? Will we still have this immature behavior when she's nearly 40, or should we leave it behind now in her 20s? She explained that her family had all planned to book the trip the night she left, and she felt guilty because I had said that we weren't going. She added that now, no one had booked until I quote-unquote finished throwing my toys out of the pram. I corrected her, saying that I didn't say we can't go, only that I wasn't going, but that she could. I chose to ignore the toy/pram comment as it really upset me. I reminded her that her mother's birthday was 2 weeks before we fly, and her grandmother's birthday is 2 weeks from now. She'll be able to spend time with her family, have a party, etc. on the actual day, which is something I also want for myself. I don't want to be away from my family in a different country with more than 25 people that I don't know well on my 30th birthday. I want to do something with my family before it's too late, since my mother's health is rapidly deteriorating and my grandmother's dementia is worsening. My mother has always talked about taking a Baltic cruise to see the northern lights for my grandmother's 80th birthday, but that's still 2 years away and I don't think either of them will be in good enough health in 2 years. So I suggested that we do it for my 30th instead. My wife seemed interested and found some dates. There's one that leaves 3 days before my birthday and returns 3 days after, which is perfect timing. We called my mother, who was delighted. She hadn't even considered how my grandmother would be at 80, and thought that it would be a lovely trip to make memories. We then went to my wife's mother's house, without an apology, but you can't have everything, to tell her that we wouldn't be gone for 3 weeks, but had found a 1-week booking that coincided with their 3 weeks trip. It was at a hotel down the beach, but in a different building, giving us some space while still allowing us to spend evenings with the family. No one had suggested a shorter trip, and I hadn't even considered it until I saw many comments advising us to come back sooner. All in all, I see this as a victory. My wife saw me stand my ground and mean it. I won't always give in for an easier life. Together, we found a peaceful solution that includes my family and makes everyone happy. I'm going to use the mantra, happy spouse, happy house from now on, as I now believe that marriage is a two-way street that requires give and take and compromise. Thanks to everyone for the advice and support. So guys, what did you think about this? Please let me know in the comments down below. So first of all, I am really icked out in the family's response, but I am really happy for OP and the way that he decided to communicate. I think that in relationships, open communication is really important. I understand that in an ideal world, we would like to assume that our partner sees things the way that we see and is able to empathize with us. However, that's not really the case in reality, and sometimes they just need a little nudge to go back into the path of empathy. And as what happened in this case, the wife really wasn't able to see things from the husband's perspective and hadn't really noticed all of the compromises that he had been making in the past. But once he did lay it out, I think it was pretty clear. So I am so glad that communication wins this one. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments down below. Would you have handled it any differently? I'd be really interested in knowing. Anyways, thank you so much for your time. If you did like the story, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.